1, 2, 3. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the Neon Mukbang. I'm Christine.
I am David.
And today we bring to you another mukbang discussion. But with a twist. Instead of eating a full meal, we're just going to snack on some things because what we're talking about today is very important and we want to focus on the talk rather than the muk. First, these dried mangoes from our favorite place, Costco.
Dried mangoes.
Then we got these sticks.
Beef sticks.
Grass-fed beef sticks.
100%.
And then we have this.
Got some spin drifts. That is sparkling water with real fruit juice.
Some ASMR for y'all. You want to taste some?
Yeah. This one's good. Grapefruit's good.
Very good.
So basically today's topic is something that's going on in America that's pretty important, and that is the Black Lives Matter movement. Something that both of us feel pretty strongly about, and today we'd like to just share our opinions. We have a disclaimer as well, right?
Yes, by no means are we saying with this video that we are experts in the field of the Black community or race relations. This is basically our opinions based off of our experiences in life and what we've been learning so far, but we definitely do have a lot more to learn and we're here to do that together. Before we get into the topics that we have prepared for y'all, we think that it's important to give you a little bit of background information on how each of us were raised in America. Would you like to? Okay, I'll start because you just picked up a mango.
No, I'll go. I'll hold the mango for emphasis. I was born on the East Coast, Maryland, but mostly raised in Northern Virginia, Woodbridge to be exact. Woodbridge didn't really have a lot of Asian people, so mostly I was around Black, Latino, white people, and the socioeconomic level was, low to middle. A lot of working class people worked in retail, military families. So that was kind of the demographic in elementary and middle school. In high school, I went to a different area, and that had majority white and Asian. And so that was kind of my first foray into making Asian friends and white friends of kind of middle to higher socioeconomic level. After that, college was more hanging out with more Asian people, Korean people. After graduating, I moved to Los Angeles and live in Koreatown and have mostly Asian friends. So that's kind of my background in America.
As for me, I was born in Southern California, and during my primary years of school, I moved all around California due to my dad having a different job. Primary school, we're always in the lower socioeconomic areas of Orange County, so that's one part of my background. I also was very used to being the only Asian kid, or one of the very few Asian kids in school during the primary years. Not a lot of I wasn't really around a lot of white kids, except for when I lived in North Carolina for a year in 4th grade, which was really random. But aside from that, I was kind of always more around mostly like Hispanic, Latino. I went into junior high school. That's when I moved to an area that was predominantly Asian and white as well. And then high school, same. And then college, I was so used to being around so many Asian kids in junior high school and high school. I continued to hang out with mostly Asian American kids. But around that time, I got to see a different side of the socioeconomic ladder because a lot of the Asians and white kids that I was growing up around were more well off. Driving Beamers to school and stuff like that. But I think that has helped me really to see a wide variety of lifestyles within the Asian community and also in the other people of color communities.
Races.
That concludes my background in growing up as a kid in America.
And we're gonna move right into our first topic for this discussion. Take it away.
Topic number 1, reasons why we decided to shoot this video. And that ties into what I said earlier about how a lot of people we know have been pretty silent on social media. Now, I'm not saying that these people, they haven't been doing anything to support the Black Lives Matter movement, but I have a hunch that if they're usually on social media very actively for other areas of their life, I can deduce that they aren't really caring too much about what's going on. And this is kind of for these people. Social media, when used for good, we think is a very effective tool to spread awareness and create unity. And I can speak from personal experience that I used to also be a little hesitant to speak on more divisive matters, because I have tried that before and then I got attacked by my own family members about my views, and it wasn't a great experience. So I stayed silent, kept it very surface, but then after all of this started happening, I actually saw people that I really care about speaking out on what's going on, and that gave me like the courage to start speaking what's truly on my mind and things I really care about. So that's why I want to say that, like, even if you might feel like nothing will really happen if you speak out on social media, or you will get attacked by people, or you will get judged, it's like, it really does matter, because there are going to be people that stand with you on this. I for one, David for two. So that's a good start.
1-2. So basically, a lot of people underestimate the power of social media, in the sense that it's not only a platform to share ideas or thoughts, it's showing other people that other people care about something. And so why not get behind probably the biggest social justice matter in our lifetime and stand alongside fellow Americans in a matter which is life or death for them. So that's why we should talk and speak out and post things and share things, educate ourselves, relearn things.
Another reason why I feel like I really need to say this is because for the Asian Americans staying silent, I think we need to really think about why we might be staying silent. And one of the reasons might be because anti-Blackness indeed exists in the Asian American community. Asian Americans watching this, how many of you have heard from direct family members or people you know saying something racist about Black people? How many of you heard of Sunja Du or Latasha Harlins? Let's start from there, about anti-Blackness existing in the Asian American community. David, can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's basically a very unfortunate, very sad story about a Korean store owner who believed a young teenage Black girl was stealing from her store and proceeded to shoot her
and kill her.
Apparently, she didn't get any convictions or charges.
She did, but it was like not like
right.
Yeah,
it wasn't matching.
It wasn't matching.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Her,
Yeah, no, but it basically was during the times of the LA riots, and that just increased the tension between the Black community and the Korean Asian American community. Basically, that example highlights the fact that it is existing in the Asian community, this anti-Blackness, and if you aren't fighting to reverse it or stop or
call it out,
then you're standing by and not being a change that is absolutely necessary.
Right. And I remember David mentioning before during our discussions why the silence is such a problem, because silence is not acknowledging that something wrong is happening. It's not calling out the wrongs, and that's not doing anything. It's not helping anything. It's siding with the oppressor.
Right. You're agreeing that what is happening is okay. That Black people are dying and getting shot is okay.
And also for the Asians who rebuttal the Black Lives Matter movement by saying, like, where was the Black community when the Asian community was being attacked for COVID-related things? And I want to say, like, what happened to Asian Americans during the time of COVID being attacked is terrible. But were they getting shot? Were they getting killed? I don't think so. Yeah. Right now, Black people are getting shot and killed and lynched every day. I mean, this will flow into topic 2.
Yeah.
So that ties into topic number 2, which is understanding what the Black Lives Matter movement represents. And from my perspective, what it represents is the Black community fighting to stay alive. Because police brutality and murders happening by the police of Black people are not getting properly tried,
convicted, fired,
exactly.
Called out.
It's just acting as if these lives of these dead Black people don't matter.
There have been so many things going on with police treating Black people or brown people even with such impunity and straight up murder. It's about time that people are aware of this, and with the advent of video and social media, people are now just becoming aware that this has been going on for so long. And so, is this a huge movement? Yeah. Is this something that everyone needs to get behind? Yes. Yeah. So,
Yes.
That's why it's important for us to support the Black Lives Matter movement.
This is a great place to start. By showing up and standing up for the Black community, it shows that we as Asians stand with that community, and those people will see that, and I'm sure will stand for us too. They will remember the people that stood with them during this time, and they will remember the people that did not stand with them. So if you want to do something about the race relations between the Asian and Black community, then you need to really, really speak out now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take a quick break from our topics to just let you know that we stand behind these products greatly. Everything's so tasty. These beef sticks, amazing.
This message has brought to you by Country Archer.
100% grass-fed beef. 5 grams of protein per stick. 50 calories.
You sound like a robot.
And this is bomb, yo. It's like real juice, carbonated water. Anyway, that was just some content relief. But back to it.
So, moving on. Topic 3.
Topic 3. So, if you are non-Black, let's stop making this about ourselves. Now, I really wanted to talk about this because when we first started seeing the protesting and the looting happening, the very first things I was hearing from the people around me were,
"Oh, the looting is terrible. Oh my God, why can't people protest quietly? Why can't they be peaceful?"
I felt the same way too. You know, I did feel that the looting was terrible, and I don't stand by violence, but I understood that like that was the aftermath of the more pressing matters, which is like the injustices happening to the Black community. And although I'm not going to really get into or be able to understand the complexities of looting and rioting and protesting, you know, I do understand what all of that was happening was necessary to get the voices heard of the Black community, and also for the people that were quick to speak on the looting but refusing to speak on the injustices and the racism and the police brutality. Then all I can say to you is you're only able to think about yourselves and what's happening to you like directly in your bubble, and that's a problem. David will speak on it a little more, but I'll finish off by saying like property, money, all of that can be replaced, but lives cannot, compared to somebody's mom or dad or brother or cousin being shot and killed and nothing done about it.
I think the feeling of a lot of these people that are protesting, and as us as well, is that the outcome of these situations is just so frustrating and causes so much anger, because literally police officers that murder people aren't being tried,
They're walking
taken,
the streets
arrested,
like normal.
Nothing is ever done to them. Are people right to riot and burn things down? That's up to them and how they feel, but
how they want to express their anger.
Rioting is the language of the oppressed, so basically if they're gonna do that, they're gonna have to do that.
But disclaimer again, we are not condoning the looting or the rioting, but we're saying that we can empathize and understand to a little inkling of a degree why they might feel the need or desire to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a start in like trying to become a better ally, you know, to the Black community, is like seeing something negative and saying like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't do that, blah, 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 and making it about yourselves, but like trying to understand like where that is coming from is a better way to have some better answers as to what's going on.
Yeah.
So again, it's when we see something happening on our social media feeds or on the news, and it's kind of highlighting the more negative things that are happening related to the protesting, instead of blindly believing or seeing what you see and thinking that that's all this is. Like, let's question ourselves, let's question what we see, let's research, let's ask questions to actual Black people, because it's happening to them. It's not really up to us to decide how we feel about it. We need to start listening to the affected.
Yeah, just shut up.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up, please, and stop making it about yourselves.
If you've lived all of your life under a certain amount of privilege, and we're talking mostly to Asian people, we are considered the model minority, we're considered this white adjacent race, but in reality you're just given that by those in power, those people who want to keep you suppressed and docile.
And continue oppressing.
Exactly. And so
the Black community.
What we need to do is basically team up with people of color to take over what basically was systematic racism in America, because it goes back hundreds of years. If you don't know what's going on, research. We'll put links in the description. But yeah, it's an important issue that we need to get behind.
The way you speak is a direct correlation of like the way you think.
Your priorities.
Yeah, your priorities. So even checking that is a good way to start if you're kind of like, I don't know what to do or where to start or what's right and wrong. Start from like yourself and how you think. Like, check yourself. Please. It would do so many people good to just shut the fuck up and check yourself.
Am I thinking about this because of the amount of privilege I've had, in my entirety of
Am I
my
caring
life?
more about my well-being and my selfish tendencies rather than like the lives of other people? Am I taking from the Black community, listening to their music, enjoying their art, enjoying their culture,
techno,
enjoying
house,
freedom
jazz,
because of the labor of the
Martin
Black
Luther
community?
King Jr., Rosa Parks. I think those are all questions you should be asking yourself if you're on the fence about this entire movement.
And that directly leads into our next topic, which is, if you're not Black, uncomfortable questions to ask yourself. Parentheses, a way to check your privilege. And I kind of set it up in a way where it's like things I've heard people say in response to the Black Lives Matter. Ignorant things that people have said, and then like I will propose a question to ask yourself to check yourself.
Take it away.
First thing I've heard is like,
I'm a minority. I've dealt with racism before, but I don't go around looting or putting businesses on fire. Like, act right if you don't want to get attacked by the police.
ask yourself this. Have you ever feared for your life of getting shot by the police for doing absolutely nothing?
Sleeping in your bed.
Sleeping in your bed, or driving in your car.
Walking down the street,
or having a
in your
broken taillight. Another question to ask yourself. How many people in your circle have been shot or killed by the police?
Many.
Do you as a parent have to teach your child how not to get shot by the police?
Heavy questions.
Did your people endure historically documented enslavement and oppression for 335 years? All right. Another thing I've been seeing is just,
I'm not into politics, or I'm just so sick of seeing all this Black Lives Matter stuff. Like, when are we going to start caring about all lives?
I don't even know where to start with this one. This is just like fucking shit.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So Christine proposed the question, why does this affect us? Basically, how this country works is that the top 10 richest Americans, majority white, CEOs of companies, majority white, entertainment, news, government, mayors are majority white. Now, does this affect you negatively? Probably not. Does this mean that there's less control and power in your hands? Yes. Because those people ultimately will be looking out for their people. So if you have a company that has mostly white CEOs, who do you think they'll be hiring? This is why we need to care about it, and that's why it affects you.
And that kind of directly ties into our fourth topic, which is like one of the solutions of what's going on right now. Where can we start? And it's defunding the police. Now, we really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like so many people are misinformed about what defunding the police actually means. Basically, from my knowledge, it is saying that if you look at proposed budgets, for example, LA, you can see that $3 billion was going to get allotted to the police department, and then a few million to other, I think, let me see clearly.
Allocating the disproportionate amount of funds that go into police departments in cities across this country into community-based programs, child services, education, helping with the homeless, basically
The needs of the people.
the needs of the people, and to have a more specified response to different situations. Because what happens in America is that the police are called for domestic disturbances, loud noises, homeless people, whereas police should pretty much just respond to violent crimes.
And also the police are not well equipped to respond to these other community issues that they are always called for, which is why it makes sense to lessen the amount of money that they get and allocate it to other specialists.
There are a number of reasons why there's just so much funding going into the police, and we can include links down below in the description to kind of explain it further, because both of us honestly aren't really experts on this matter. But defunding the police is the next actionable step that you can take if you care about this movement. Of course, protesting and sharing information online is great, but participating in this next step is a great way to help this movement.
If you do have any questions, there's so many resources out there. The People's City Budget, they have a proposed revised budget plan that's for the people, and it really clearly breaks down like how much of funding and what percentage of the funding will go to different areas. That also ties into other things that you can do to stay active, because this issue of racism and injustices happening to the Black community is not going to stop anytime soon, which is why even though you don't see as much things related to the Black Lives Matter movement on your social media, you can still be active by donating, because there's always going to be organizations that are fighting for equal rights that need your help. I've heard instead of, donating a lump sum, it helps organizations, especially the smaller ones, to do like a monthly reoccurring smaller increments of donations, because if an organization gets like too much money at once, it's hard for them to allocate those funds properly. So a better way is like monthly reoccurring donations. One thing that I think is really important also is to just really listen to the Black community and what they have to say about everything, instead of coming up with your own ideas of how to be an ally. Listen to the people who actually will tell you what they need.
Yeah, I think that's a huge free thing that you can do, which is be a listener to Black voices, artists.
Look for people who won't have like a agenda, like a personal agenda to like gain from, you know, because a lot of times celebrities do have a personal agenda.
Sure.
I would say look more for people and organizers of Black Lives Matter movements or
communities, programs that directly help Black communities.
Yeah.
Those would be the people that you should definitely listen to.
I think another good tip for people who are really interested in like researching is double check where you're getting your facts from. Just because it looks credible doesn't mean that it always is. Like, I know so many people who are like, oh, like I read it on here and everything they say is factual and correct. It's actually not. Everyone's human and we all make mistakes. So do professionals. So just always make sure like where you're getting your information from. And just like get used to changing your mind. So many people think if they think one way that they have to think that way for the rest of their lives and they have to die with those thoughts to their grave. That's really not it. It's actually okay and normal to change your mind as you receive new information.
Both of us are experiencing that constantly in this movement, challenging ourselves,
Checking
checking ourselves, being willing to be like, okay, I had lived my life like this, but I want to be different and I want to make a change. So yeah, in conclusion, I think this is an incredibly important time in our lives where you can be part of a massive change in our country, because it is broken. There are a lot of things that are wrong within our country, and for you to be silent or not caring about these is a big issue as a citizen, as a person that lives in this country. As we said, there are a number of things you can do externally and internally, and we can have all links to programs or communities that we like and we recommend you checking out down in the description below.
Yeah, and if you would like to share any resources that you have that you thought was beneficial for you, please comment and share below, because I would like to see that.
Yeah. We're open.
We're very open
to discussion as well, and what you guys think. Yeah, we just wanted to make a video about this because it's just incredibly important. Yeah, very important. Bigger than the entertainment that we're trying to give through this channel. So
that's like pretty much all we would like from this specific video, is just that maybe it could help.
Yeah.
You know, somebody struggling with this or having issues with like explaining it to their loved ones or friends, or if you feel alone, you don't feel like anybody else feels the same way as you do. We hope that this can give you some courage and solace that there are other people who actually give a shit about important things happening.
That's the tagline, give a shit.
Give a shit about stuff. Until next time. Oh my god.
Okay, well, see you later in all seriousness, and
stay safe.
Stay safe. Be well.
Stay safe.
Wear a mask
Be well.
and BLM.